Salute, YouTube. Tolstoy Kofgetsky here again, coming off of my Thanksgiving vacation. Hope yours was good. I know that there's been a lot of talk of me wanting to get back to my retro game reviews, and I would, but, well, I kind of burned through all the really cheap ones, you know, kind of like, well, Neo Geo Pocket Color wasn't easy to get my hands on, but wasn't difficult, and as of late, I have been hunting around, and this is probably going to be the last big one before Christmas, because I've got to save up my money to, you know, buy the gifts for the family, and, you know, make good on my promises, and, you know, hope I don't get coal in my stockings. Anyway, on eBay, I'll tell you this one, it's a great hunter story, man. I had the ears of a fox and the eyes of a hawk, and I swooped in, and I managed to grab a hold of something. I'm going to do a retro review for you now, and this is me presenting it. It starts off with, there was a corporate report back in like 2000, 2001, probably about 2000. And there was a cell phone company, Nokia, who took a poll, or took what's the word, a census, and they said, what are the two most popular items carried in people's pockets of teenagers? And they concluded that they were cell phones, obviously. This one's not mine, and I do not prefer the color purple, but, well, I don't even have a cell phone, for that matter. And, of course, Game Boys, although around 2000 it was probably a Game Boy Advance. Anyway, but this is true, so they thought, well, gaming on cell phones back then wasn't really that advanced, and so they thought, I know, let's make a hardcore gaming cell phone. And of course, I was lucky enough to snag for the unhandsome price of, yes, and hold on for this one, $60. For the unhandsome price of $60, $59.99, I managed to get a Nokia Gage. Okay, so, let's see. This here's Nokia Gage. This is the QD model, and the QD model is it was the rehash, I guess, or the remaking, the redesign of the original Gage, and some of the problems were fixed, and some new problems arose. I do believe I've heard through the grapevine. My research has shown that the original Gage was slightly bigger, a little more lunkier, and the controls might have been a little more confusing. I haven't had too much time to look at them and understand the original Gage. More often than not, when you see the image of the Gage, you're looking at the Gage QD, which. Does anyone else get that play on words? Gage QD, QT, QD, like it's smaller, so it's cuter? No, just me? Oh, okay. Originally, I believe it had an MP3 player built into it, but we'll get into features later. Either way, this one had the MP3 player stripped of it, that I know, and but it did cure a few things, which is, one, the original one required that you take off the battery hatch, take out the battery, and quick change the game card. Real quick in order to, you know, change games, and that's just a hideous pain in the ass. And they changed it so this is made for quick swapping, or, you know, quick swapping out your game cards, and that's good. And originally you had to side talk, which is, this is your head, you know, you'd have to place it there on end, what they called like a taco, side talking like that, and you looked quite silly, and this one has fixed that problem. Okay. I don't know if I can do this. This is my head, I guess. How's my haircut look back there? Can you see my cowlick? And this is what it would look like side talking. Stylish. But unfortunately, they managed to change it around. I hope I'm getting a good image of this. So that now you are actually doing that. Take a look. Alright, well, probably really made the camera angle foobar on that one. I apologize. I apologize. Okay, let's go over the features of this. Well, let's swap camera angles while we can. Back in a moment. Okay, that's a bit more comfortable for me. Okay, so here's the model, Gage QD. That was an homage to Dr. Ashen, if you haven't seen his latest videos. Okay, so basically, you got your D-pad over here, and this is a check button, or an OK button, as they call it. First of all, this thing's button configuration is well, let's just say it's more confusing and befuddling than 3 Swiss Army knives glued together with Semtex plastic explosives, so really gotta be careful about that. You got D-pad here, simple enough, and an OK button, which is, that's alright. It's basically your standard fire button. It's X for, you know, all those PlayStation fans. This is a menu button. This is a, you know, this side OK button. This is the opposite of that, this side. You probably can't see all this. The camera's clarity is not too well. You have a send button. You have a, what's the word? Hang up button or off button. You have your dialing pad here for making phone calls and, of course, playing games. You have, can't really get an angle, but over here is a little pencil emblem on this button, and it means edit, and of course this C button means clear. It's for calculator functions or for clearing things. Okay, on the back, something that you might need to notice, and this is okay, first things first, when I first booted it up, it would not turn on completely, and that's because these things were designed to be cell phones, obviously, and they wanted to have SIM cards in them to work, and of course, I mean, change the camera angle here. And SIM cards are, well, I have no idea what they are, but they have something to do with cell phones. Again, tech geeks can tell you, I can't. I think it has something to do with telling the satellite in space the phone is down here and ready to be activated. Anyway, long story short, I had to go to AT&T booth in a mall and get them to give me a dummy card, which works just fine. It's basically just a little plastic card made to look like one, and I'll show you what they look like if I can do it. Well, I'll show you after I model the games, because I'm afraid it could erase some of the memory, and I have to keep that for something. Anyway, I could take off the back battery hatch. I'll show you in a moment. You got your little slot, this little peely-offy thing here, and that's for headphones, and that's a power jack. It's a little uncomfortable, really, because they think that they're streamlining it by adding on this little rubber thing, which is a pain in the ass to work. But their headphone jack should always be exposed. Even power jack should always be exposed. And you take a lesson from the PSP or the DS. That's true. And down here, of course, is your other little flap for a pain in the ass. Come on. Bear with me, folks. Oh, come on. I can't undo it. Wait a second, oh my god, I was doing it backwards. God, anyway, that's for putting in your game cards, which I'll show you that in a moment. If I can just plug that back in. It's not very eloquent at all. Here you have your speaker, which I can't tell if that's your talkie speaker or your not-talkie speaker. And there's the other one. That's probably your talkie speaker. Can't really tell. And of course, one of the things you notice, and that's one of the bigger complaints, is that all N-Gages, Nokia N-Gages, had screens that were stood up on end, as opposed to, you know, what's the word, laying out like movie style. Another thing that I can say is that this feels very, very good in the hands. Feels very secure, and I like the way it rides in my pocket. I can tell you that I like my PSP and I like my DS. They do not ride well in my pocket because they are glossy and they want to slip and slide around and turn sideways, and it's very uncomfortable. This is very small and I think sexy looking, and because of its rubber plastic backing, it really wants to stay in one place in your pocket, and even if you drop it, you know, it really doesn't feel like you're going to hurt it all that much, although I do like being careful with my things. That was just to demonstrate. Now, I'd like to model how it looks in some games for you and just turn it on, so I'm going to have to adjust the lighting. It's better if it gets a little darker because the backlit screen, which is nice, it's backlit anyway, power button is actually, you can't see it, but it's actually built into the rubber, and you have to, it's like touch sensitive, and you have to press in with your thumbnail, and it's a real pain in the ass. Come on, there you go. Lordy. Nokia! That should be their opening emblem thing, is Nokia! Nokia! It takes like an hour and a half to get loaded, honest to God. This is one of the bigger downfalls, is that I want to play some games right now. Right now. Let's play some games now. There you go. That's the infamous N-Gage boot up. I don't know who that guy is. I do not know why that boots up like that. This is a used one, so it has memory. There you go. You can't read it, but it says SIM card registration failed, which means that, well, it's a dummy SIM card, whatever the hell a SIM card is. Okay, well, besides games, you can try and use it as a phone. Here's what it looks like when you're dialing. You can't read that down there, but that's, there you go. Just dialed in 410, which, let's go back. You got, you know, contacts. There you go. And this guy has a whole bunch of contacts for some reason. Akin, Akos, Amy Bolent, Baby Crystal Thomas. Okay, I don't know who the hell this guy was, but he had a whole lot of friends to talk to. And of course, this thing could do text messaging, and here's all the messages. Here's, says new message inbox, my folder. What if this would help if I turn out the light? No? Yes? Yeah, whatever. SBC. I don't know what any of that is, but apparently it could, you know, send and receive messages through Bluetooth, which that is, was Bluetooth, one of the, you know, first Bluetooth-enabled phones, so, you know, yeah, see, hit that edit button, what that does. Nothing, I can't tell.